Hello and welcome to the SIME Inside Out podcast from Lancaster University Management School. We're speaking with members of the SIME community, the Center for Scholarship and Innovation in Management Education, to explore how engaging with SIME has shaped their thinking, development, and practice. These are short, real stories about the value of education community, creativity, and transformation in teaching and learning. My name is Anne, and today I'm joined by William Tayler. Hi, how are you doing?
I'm great, thank you. Thanks for the invitation.
That's great. We're really pleased to have you in the studio with us today. So, to begin with, I'd love to hear more about your current role at Lancaster Uni and how your professional journey has been evolving in recent years.
Yeah, so I'm a senior lecturer in the Department of Economics. And I've been here, for a number of years. I won't say how many, but more than 10, slightly more than 10. And yeah, so I specialise in macroeconomics, which is sort of a field which looks at the whole economy and the drivers of movements in the whole economy. But I'm also really interested in teaching, how we teach, how we engage students, and even doing research down that route as well. So I think those are the two main things in terms of my research or scholarship side. I've obviously engaged a lot with teaching, lecturing. Groups from sort of 30 students to nearly 300, and it's something I really, really enjoy, and that's why I'm really pleased to be engaged with SIME, because it's nice to see a lot of other people who enjoy these things.
That's really great to hear. So before getting involved with SIME, was there something that prompted you to explore new ways of teaching or engaging with students?
Yeah, definitely. So the first thing would be mistakes. So, well, not mistakes, but just always constantly self-evaluating and thinking about how you could improve your teaching. If you were a student, how would you want to be taught? And then building on that, I think discussions with colleagues who are also interested in this sort of thing, but that would mainly be confined to the department or other economists, and I may know from other universities. So those were the two sort of main ones. I mean, there would be a little bit of engaging with scholarship and what others are doing elsewhere, but I think that's sort of grown more in the last few years.
I see. And thinking back to when you first came across SIME, what drew you to the initiative at that point in your journey?
So I thought it was exactly what the university needed. The school, let's say, but because I could see the scholarship part of the job and the teaching part of the job growing a lot in other institutions, given its importance, for delivering, engaging, high quality education and doing, the best we can, and sharing practice with others. And I think it was exactly what we needed, with the added benefit as well that you could get scale by bringing departments together. So if something like this was happening within our department, you're always going to be a very small group of colleagues who might be engaged, whereas SIME really allowed that to, this sort of community, this network of people to be much bigger. So that's what drew me to it. And then, Radka did a brilliant job of, really pushing this and welcoming everyone to it.
That's really great. So you were talking about the community and the people you've met at SIME, right? So when you first joined, what was the SIME environment like for you? Did anything about the culture or the activity surprise you at all?
Yeah, it's very different to perhaps the culture in what I do in macroeconomics. This is not to say there's anything wrong with that culture, but it's quite competitive, and people are watching others and what they're doing and how that relates to your work. And that's nice. But the thing about SIME was that it was very, very welcoming. And everybody was really on the same page. I think they were, all wanted to achieve the same goals. We weren't so much in competition with one another. And so, yeah, it was quite refreshing in that sense.
I see. That's great. And talking about the people at SIME, one thing I hear a lot from our guests in the podcast is the chance to connect with people across subject areas, right? And did you find yourself engaging with colleagues outside economics, and how do you find it? So,
yes, definitely. The vast majority of them are outside of economics. And so first of all, so we've done some joint things together, and you get to understand the approach to answering a question is different in economics. Yeah. And, it's more quantitative. And this is more sort of qualitative research. And so that really opened my eyes up to that avenue, but also how the two can complement one another actually and sort of give you a more complete, answer to a question that you're looking at. So I think definitely that we saw sort of the different approaches that we have, and it's really nice to engage with and have this sort of community across the school.
That's wonderful. Yeah,
which came from that.
Yeah. And what did those kinds of exchanges bring to your thinking? Because you're saying that you're complementing each other, right? So what did it bring to your thinking, your practice, your development? Is it around digital engagement, teaching methods? Because I hear that you also do social media relating to economics, right?
Yeah. So I think it. I suppose there's some specifics, which is, we engaged in projects together, and we saw how, as I was sort of saying before, really how you can answer a question in a different way and get different insights that you might not have from what I do, and then also how you can bring, the different approaches to help others with answering those questions. How it sort of affected my practice, I think actually the main thing is it's given me a sort of a broader, this is a bit more sort of, I'm not pinning on really specific things, but a broader approach to understanding how we can go about, improving teaching. Definitely it's brought a community. So, if there are things which I'm not so aware of, I know there are other people in SIME who would be, have better expertise on different areas and can sort of can help me with that. So in that sense, part of it is there are more people, friends that you can have that you can ask questions, and that sort of helps you to be a bit more rounded in the way you approach things. And as I say, you develop this network, this community from that.
That's great. And can you think of a conversation or a particular collaborations at SIME that really challenged your assumptions or spark a new approach? Is there any ongoing collaborative work at SIME right now with you?
So there's one that I suppose that's finished now, the one with the attendance project, which did sort of challenge how. Well, I'll go back to that because I think that's probably quite important. So that challenged how I would address a question and others would, and the neat thing about it was, whilst economists can be really good at getting data and analysing it, so it's quantitative data and analysing it and seeing what this means. It can be trickier, in my mind at least, to to take a lot of qualitative information and make sense of that. And for me, I would always challenge, well, how do we know what's the scale of this information? What's the size, the magnitude? And I think the approaches that I saw from colleagues through this project was that they could make sense of that to draw conclusions in a sort of different way. So I think that was really nice. And then, other things about how you can, use AI to move down all these different avenues. And so lots of sort of individual elements which together give you this sort of broader mix, which I'd say is
that's great. And I think we were talking a lot about research. Were there any ideas or approach from SIME that you actually put into action in your teaching, or how you approach engaging with students?
I think also the one thing is we presented, so my collaborators, also my wife, actually, on this project that we have, which I can come to later if you want. We presented that fairly early on in the at SIME, and we got some useful insights from those there, some positive comments, which actually gave us sort of more confidence to not only use this more in our teaching, but to really create a project and a piece of scholarship work, and that I suppose that just that community and having people who are really engaged and switched on in this sort of space, having them give us insights, give us some confidence in what we're doing, allowed us to expand the project. And then we presented this, so Sophia presented this in the US at the biggest conference in the field of economic education. We then presented it at universities throughout the country. It's now revise and resubmit so the paper itself has been produced. It's a revise and resubmit in exactly the journal we wanted to. I won't say where because I don't want to jinx anything, but hopefully, that has led to outcomes that we've not just shared with the institution here, but we've shared really elsewhere. It's helped us not just launch this project into our teaching, but also into the whole network of, particularly in economics, of economic education. So being invited to places and having more of a community outside of the institution as well. So for that, it was a really good launch pad. And I think that's a really important element, is that, there are the small things which are really, really important because they really add up, where you're just finding different ways of engaging with students. Also, just sharing issues. You're not alone. When there's a problem. So there's that element. But also there's this element which is sort of building scholarship, such that you've got in the group you've got really good lecturers, engaging lecturers who are able to deliver stuff and innovations in a really clear way in the classroom, but getting them to share that. Okay, through blogs, through publications, through presenting, and that sort of formalizing in that sense, I think, was a really powerful thing, because that allows us to show, look, not just within the group what we're doing, but beyond, to the wider academic community and beyond that as well. So that's actually amazing work that you've done with SIME, and so has your involvement in SIME shifted how you see your role at Lancaster Uni, and how you see yourself in your department now? I suppose it has. I suppose it's another way of recognizing that we are not just a department. It's more open than that. That we have something, of course, to offer our department, and to share practice, to have spillovers that are positive to colleagues in the department and your teaching there. but also, really importantly, that we're part of a bigger network and a bigger community in the school and beyond that. I mean, SIME has good links with things like CEDA and the other parts of the community at the university. And so I think it's really helped to just, you make those connections and then you're willing to write someone an email that you know now, do you know what I mean? Or have a chat with them. Yeah. And my role then hopefully can have similar effects. So I hope people who are members of SIME from other departments who I didn't know before are able to say, okay, well, you've done this in your class, or you have this project. Can you tell me how you went about that? How can you help? And I think that side of things definitely has grown. Well, it has been instigated since that.
Yeah, that's great. And you were talking about your research being presented in the US and shared with other universities as well, right?
Yeah.
So do you feel that being part of SIME actually helped elevate your voice or work within the broader academic community beyond Lancaster Uni?
Yeah, I mean that's exactly what I was saying. So, yeah, exactly. I think a lot of it is, it gives you a starting point. So one of the first things we did was wrote a blog in the SIME journal, which okay, it's an output in itself, but also it gets you clarifying your thoughts and starting to sort of write up what you're doing. I think one of the really important things which I've taken on board from early on is in innovations that you do in the classroom, you need to be slightly thinking about how you can evidence this, how you can, if you're thinking of not just the goal immediately of influencing your students and making them more engaged, happy, understanding the content better. Okay, that's clearly the primary goal. But what SIME's help with is that there's a sense of thinking, okay, how can we go beyond that to produce, outputs which are going to be read and available and presented and increase your network beyond the institution. And that's thinking about how you're going to evidence your project, and you have to think about that at the start. So all of these things make you think more clearly as a sort of as how you carry out the project and run it. And SIME's help with that. And I hope that that continues. I think it's a really important element for academics who, particularly those involved directly with scholarship, are sort of thinking about that, not just being a brilliant teacher, but telling other people, I've done this worked really well, here's the evidence, and then they're more likely to try it. And having that influence on others, both within the university and beyond, that's a really, really important goal. Not just directly the students that you teach today. And yet SIME was sort of led the way, if you like, for that. So that's good.
That's great. And talking about leading the way and the future, if you had the chance to shape the next phase of SIME, what would you love to see more of?
Oh, well, that's this is a really hard one. I think everything is very good. The thing I'd like to see more of, I suppose, is but I would suffer from this as well, is just to have the community bigger, have more time to make sure you can attend everything. So, I mean, what I think is actually, all the ingredients are really there, and they can grow, endogenously I'm using economic terms, they can grow sort of organically from having more time, being more engaged, having this sort of space to develop and influence others within SIME. So I know that doesn't really answer the question that well. In a sense, I've sort of avoided it, but what I'm saying is I think the ingredients are there. I think a lot of us just struggle with being involved with service roles for the university department, etc. Be involved with teaching and research, and just carving out that space to do it. I think that's where I've suffered, at least in the last sort of 9 months, let's say, is just finding the additional time to do that. And I should make more time, by the way. But but if we had that, that would be good, but that's obviously very difficult to, implement.
Right. So now we will move on to the final question, actually.
Yeah.
What would you say to a colleague who's still on the fence about joining SIME, especially someone who may not see themselves as like a typical innovator in education?
Well, I think you have to come along and see, right? I'll tell you a bit about the project we've done and how SIME's helped, and that might help us see. So I would have thought in the past I would be a good lecturer, and students seem to like my teaching and my modules, but perhaps I wasn't introducing innovations all the time, So it's, for me, it was more about just being good at teaching that's the most important thing, which I still think is a really important thing. But we can always do things better and support students better and help them learn better, right? So with this project that I have with Sophia called Daily Life Icon, what we've done is we've used Instagram and social media to try and engage and society, but particularly the students, about economics. And it's called Daily Life Econ because economics is all around your daily lives. Decisions you make every day involve economics, okay, trade-offs on, doing one thing over the other, or how you spend your time, your money, your resources, and things like this. Okay, I won't go into the details of that. Now, this involved quite a bold move because we were, creating content. We were putting this in advance of lectures and seminars and things like that, in lots of different ways, polling students and trying to get a network and a following, okay, at Manchester University and at Lancaster. Now, I think the thing for me was this was a true innovation, right? And this is written up into a piece of work as well, and it's something we've engaged students in the classroom. And what SIME helped me with was going down that path of not just doing this for fun and doing something that's quirky in the classroom, but really showing how we can not just do this, but tell more people and influence others who might want to do this as well. And that's developed from that sort of innovation. So I think, to summarize, with me, I think being a good lecturer is really important, but that the thing is additional innovations and producing scholarship. That's what came from coming to SIME. And you don't have to jump at your first time you come for any, say to the camera, so for any people who would be anxious about this path, it's just to see what they're doing and see what the people are like, and this grows over time, and you have a chat and you can see, actually I can do this, and I can think about, I've got this idea, I'm going to have a quick chat or a coffee with someone and think, actually, that could work, and then you might say, okay, how do I go about this? And so I think it makes it easier, right, to do these things. So I guess that's what I would say to anyone who, was thinking about going down this path.
Right, and thank you, William, for sharing your insights with us today. And we really hope to see more of your innovative work with SIME in the future. Yeah. And to all of you who are listening, thank you so much for being with us. If you're interested or are thinking about getting involved with SIME, please visit us at www.lancaster.ac.uk/LUMS/ in the Research Center section, or just find us on LinkedIn. We're always keen to welcome new voices who are passionate about education, innovation, and meaningful learning journeys. See you next time.
Bye.